Hello and welcome to Slooh's latest Clubhouse clip. This is a particularly exciting one because it's just so intimately involved with what our members are doing right here, right now, today, live. We're going to be looking at some live imagery coming in from the Canary Islands for what is happening exactly right now on a very particularly special day that we here at Slooh, the Community Observatory, are celebrating with our members. And tonight I have with me Slooh Astronomer Bob Berman, who really is quite passionate about this particular event, has a lot to say on the subject, so I'm so happy to have him around. And yeah, really, welcome to the show here, Bob.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Great to be here, Eric.
It's going to be quite a lot of fun, I think. And just to get us started, just look at how beautifully clear. This is a live image from our all-sky view at the Canary Islands. This is what we're seeing right now. Perfectly clear skies, not a cloud to be seen, and just a really gorgeous view.
It's really gorgeous, yeah. I mean, look at that. At the top of the screen, we see the Big Dipper. Everybody can notice that. This is Astronomy 101. And there's the handle of the Dipper arcing down to Arcturus, the brightest star near the middle of the picture. And then as you keep going down, following that arc, you get to Spica, the brightest star in Virgo at the very bottom. You can even see that Spica is blue. This is great. You know, we didn't, some years ago, we didn't have that capability at the Canary Islands facility to have color in the all sky. But you can even see that Arcturus is a little on the orange side. And, you know, someone calculated, Eric, that if you put your hand up to the sky, you can feel a little bit of the warmth from Arcturus because it's 36 light years away, and that the heat you feel is exactly equal to what you get from a single candle located 3 miles away.
Oh wow, that is so interesting. And yeah, I have had that experience that if my neighbors just a long way away do have a candle, I'm a little sensitive to that. So it's something that's a common experience for me. So I'm glad you used that comparison. But so this is an all sky view. This is a wide view of the sky. But what we're doing tonight is we're going to zoom in very close on some very particular objects. And so here I'm going to move us to our live view, the Canary Islands right now. What we're doing is we're looking at some very particular NGC objects, and it's because it's the anniversary of a very special day quite a while ago. What exactly
Yeah.
happened on this day?
Well, this was the date, April 11th, way back in 1785, that William Herschel, one of my favorite heroes, Aristarchus, a few hundred years BC, was my first hero because he was the first person to say that the Earth spins. Everyone thinks it was Copernicus or Galileo who's the first. Forget it. 1800 years earlier, it was Aristarchus. Herschel was another great. And so this is the anniversary of him discovering two rather obscure galaxies. For beginners, you may not know that the brighter objects usually have M numbers in front of them. For example, M51 is the famous Whirlpool galaxy. And that's because it's named after Charles Messier, who did most of the discovering in the 1770s, along with his assistant Pierre Méchain. So a lot of the galaxies, they got it covered. M81, M82, these are eighth and ninth magnitude galaxies, the closer ones, the brighter ones, the splashier ones. By the time you got to the 1780s, the brighter stuff had been taken, and now it was Herschel's turn because he built the biggest telescopes of his day. What a guy. I mean, he was a concert cellist. He created, I think, 24 symphonies. I don't know if any of them were any good. Supposedly, they were all renowned for curing insomnia, really. But nonetheless, he did that. He was a composer. 48-inch telescope. That was the largest in the world at that time. That was a star. Even today, at a star party, nobody brings along a 48-inch telescope. So that's how he discovered this. He didn't put his name on it. Now we use the New General Catalog. It's been around for a little more than a century, and this is 4692 on it, far off in the distance. And as we move to yet another NGC object discovered by Herschel on this date, April 11th of 1785. So I'm really glad that the Slooh members are savvy enough to say, okay, hey, let's do this. Let's imitate and duplicate and honor William Herschel for the discoveries he made on this date in the distant past. This is another one. This is NGC 4793, and an odd spiral galaxy. Now, it's far away, 122 million light years. Now, it's almost hard to believe how far away this is, and that's why Méchain and Messier had discovered all the easy ones first. They discovered the ones that are 20 and 30 and 40 and 50 million light years away. This one, it looks like our Milky Way galaxy. It's actually a type S AB, which means its arms aren't wide open like M33s are, and they're not packed tightly. They're not wound tightly. They're in between our type of galaxy, an SB, and a more tightly wound galaxy. But it's so far away, and one of the reasons we know it is because it is flying away at 1,500 miles per second. So, Eric, every single second, that galaxy is 1,500 miles farther. So every 2 seconds, it's as farther away as, let's say, Boston is from Hollywood.
It's so amazing and so dynamic. And I've actually just got an email from our observatory engineer, Paul Cox, who has pointed out a really spectacular thing in that an image that was taken just 45 minutes ago of NGC 4080, I'm just bringing it up right here, is actually it actually shows a visualization of a supernova. So if you look sort of at the top
Sure,
right of this
sure.
galaxy, there's a little pinprick of light there. That's a supernova that Slooh members have just imaged tonight. Like, wow, that's so incredible.
That is so incredible because look at that star. It's obviously as bright as a healthy fraction of the stars in that galaxy. Typically, one supernova will erupt per galaxy per century, one a century. So, considering that there are 200 billion galaxies in the heavens, it means that it's a fair bet that there's some supernova going off at a given time. What's rare is to have one in the nearest, let's say, 200 million light years of us, because that's our neighborhood in space. But there it is. Look at that popping off. That's gorgeous.
And so it really speaks towards sort of the incredible dynamic nature of this event, and that we are following the footsteps of history, following the footsteps of Herschel, and imaging all these galaxies that he's imaged tonight. We're doing that same thing, but at the same time, we're not having the same experience. We're using telescopes that we're just sitting in front of our computer screens, and we're having these telescopes across the world take these images for us. And also, while space is so unchanging for the most part, we see these unique visuals. Like, he was not seeing that same supernova that we're seeing right now in this image. So we're seeing something different and having a different experience. And as a group of people just having this same Herschel night, having it in a way that is all our own, which is so great.
Yes. Now, as long as we're doing Herschel, the most famous thing happened 4 years earlier, on March 13th of 1781. 4 years before he discovered these galaxies, like this one, another just gorgeous Herschel discovery, he found the first ever new planet, Uranus. And even though many of us think that this is an amazing age for discoveries, which it is, the one that we live in, if you think back and try to name some discovery that just knocked you off your seat, that made you talk to everybody the next day, stop strangers on the street to talk about, you'll be hard pressed to think of a single event, even in our times. But the discovery of a new planet, nobody was looking for that. Nobody expected it. It was sort of like the discovery of microbes 120 years before that. No one saw it coming. Since ancient times, there had only been 5 planets in the known universe, and nobody thought there were any new ones, invisible ones, but Herschel found it. So it made him the most famous astronomer in the world. And it didn't even stop. Sometime after that, he discovered infrared light, invisible light. Nobody saw that one coming either. Invisible light. He discovered 2 moons of Saturn, 2 moons of Uranus. He coined the term asteroid. He made it up. So when we
Really?
talk about William Herschel, and these are his discoveries that our members are now insisting that we celebrate and look at tonight, boy, I salute them, because this was an astronomer that makes anybody today, even the late Carl Sagan or Neil deGrasse Tyson, nothing. This was by far the most famous astronomer in all of history. Hey, look at this one now. This is a weird galaxy, NGC 3846. Look at those eerie spiral arms. Now, something's going on there, because instead of having a normal grand design pattern, typically in a grand design galaxy, you have 2 spiral arms, and you could trace the 2 all around for maybe 1.5 turns. Not here. Look at that odd, chaotic structure to this galaxy. And it's amazing to me that Slooh members can find this much detail. You can even see a hint of blue in the arms, a hint of reds and oranges in that very bright nucleus. Whoa, this has got to be the spectacle of the night here.
And yeah, some of these last 3 images that you've seen of these NGC objects, these are ones that they aren't coming out of the telescope immediately, but there's things that have been imaged tonight. These are some of the greatest hits, just to give you a perspective of just, yes, these have happened just within the last few hours, that Slooh members have imaged all these things. They've imaged these supernova, they've imaged this beautiful galaxy, and just great examples of the variety that's out there in the universe. Not every galaxy looks alike. A little bit snowflakey, I think these lot are. And so it's really gorgeous to see. And here again, going back to the live view, we have
and
what's
this live
coming.
view. Something weird is going on with that live view. I don't know if you can go back to that last one, but there's a tidal distortion that's obviously pulling one of the spiral arms of that one askew. So Look at this. Look at the asymmetry that's going on here. Now, normally when we see asymmetry, for example, in the galaxy M51, we know that the companion galaxy NGC 5195, we can see it pulling off material like a string of taffy or pizza cheese. You know, we see the cause. Here we do not see the cause. There is some asymmetry. You know some massive object has been acting on it, but we don't see it. So we're looking at beauty and we're looking at mystery as well.
And there's just, this is the night to revel in it and to, as a community, come together and just image all these objects. And it's something that we do a lot of the time here at Slooh. Like that was really, it was a sad day that we weren't able to get the Messier Marathon in this year, which was, it's something that has to happen in March when all of them are visible in one night, that we can do a marathon of them. But this is sort of thing we do. Like next year, as long as it's clear, we're so glad it was clear tonight. We're going to celebrate our Herschel night. We're going to do our Messier marathons. This is something that we do as a community to celebrate all these different aspects of astronomy that are now right at our fingertips as members of Slooh. And so, just to give you an idea, in the clubhouse of the fun we're having here, I'm just looking down the list of the reservations that are happening tonight. NGC, NGC, NGC. This is going to continue on. We're just giving you a little peek into what has been happening for this whole night and is going to continue to happen early on into the night. Or late on into the night and into the early morning. So we're going to have a very long and interactive and fun night here, and I'm so happy that we have a clear night to share with you for this anniversary. That if there were clouds today, we couldn't do it tomorrow. It wouldn't be Herschel night tomorrow. This is Herschel night, and it's absolutely really a lot of fun. And also to
It's
give you
beautiful.
just another little insight into the clubhouse, we just have so many different shows that you can take advantage of. Just want to make sure we have a lot of new members that have come in recently. We want to welcome you. Make sure you sort of have insight into all the different resources you have at your fingertips here. That there's lots of different show channels that you can watch. There's recent shows. So if you like asteroids, you can look at asteroid videos. You can look at different clubhouse clips we've done in the past. Magic moments that are really spectacular. Like there's a transit of Venus clip in here that's just gorgeous. Once in a lifetime, really. If you like the moon, we have a bunch of things to look up for the moon. We have meteor showers. We have things about the sun. So all over the place. And we're adding new channels all the time. And one thing to put toward that is if there's ever really an astronomical object that you're interested in seeing a channel built around, let us know. We're here to really respond to your interest and develop more shows that are here for you, for Slooh members. This is absolutely all for you. But yeah, thank you again so much for joining us tonight, and for the Slooh members that are going on throughout the night that are going to be looking at these different objects that are just coming through the whole night. Best of luck to you for all the objects, and I'm so glad that you're here, that you're joining us. And we hope that you'll stick around for the later shows. We're going to have a couple meteor showers coming up, one at the end of this month, one at the beginning of next month, and lots more clubhouse clips to come as well. So yeah, thank you again for joining us. Any sort of last thoughts before we close up here, Bob?
I just love the fact that it's Herschel, because most people look at the bright, splashy stuff, you know, the Orion Nebula and planet Saturn and Jupiter and its moons, and that's great. You know, I love that stuff too. But this is a little bit more esoteric, so it's off the beaten track. And this was nice to explore some pathways that are not always investigated. That's great.
Right, the deeper sky, the outer universe, and it's.
Yep.
I think tonight we showed just how dynamic and interesting and variable it is. It's not always the same to our eyes, and looking up at the night sky, we catch that, we see that, and we experience that. So yeah, thank you again so much for joining me, Bob, and thank you to our Slooh members for
Pleasure.
watching tonight and being a part of this incredible community. We're going to be around all the time, and we're looking forward to seeing you again. So thank you again. This has been Eric and Bob for Slooh.